Welcome to the Austin Valley Model Railway. I've made some more progress since the last video. You can see the incline has now been pinned round and cut to shape as we head round. You can see now where it will cross over, and I have cleared up the pile of cork at the back and got more cork there ready to cut down to the platform. Here you can see the coke shed. All the track there is now complete. Just move that glue out of the way. You can see where the platform will go in along here, in between the inside line and the coach shed lines. As you will also be able to see that I now have the raised section complete. Now I'll show you the rest of that from a different angle. You can see I've got the formation of the side of the hill that will then lead up to it. So the incline itself will come up and cross over. Just find a ruler. We'll cross over about there between the incline and the raised section, that it will then curve round, and I'll show you the plan for the station a bit later and hopefully the progress that I make today. Now this section here has partially been inspired by Steve at Lingham District Model Railway, that he has a industrial area, and it reminded me that on my old layout I had an industrial area on it. So on the raised section I have got out some of my old buildings, and there will be two storage lines here that go up to a point. Then I can have a small industrial area. So I'd like to have a shout out to Steve and thank him for the idea and reminding me that I had these buildings in the first place. This bit I've already shown you, but I had been looking at it recently and thinking that I might need to move the crossover point a little bit further that way so I can actually get to these 2 points, because at the moment if I have the bridge going over the top it will be very difficult to get to those points, especially if there is a locomotive stuck here. So what I'm probably going to do is move the bridge that goes across, I'm going to move it back so it goes across here, so it misses the 2 points there and the 2 points here at the back, so that then it shouldn't interfere. Now this section here is the raised section, so if you look over there you can see the main layout and the industrial area that I've just told you about. This section, unlike the rest of the layout, will be code 55 track. But the rest of the layout is code 55 because I do still use insular frog points. So as you can see, the points that I use are still insular frog, but I still wanted to have these curved points here. Now I don't do curved points in code 55 track that are insulated, so it would be quite awkward, so I decided that I would just use the code 80 track, and then if I wanted to I could have used some bits of set track. This was in my early planning that I decided this, but then it meant that I couldn't use double slips. So for the raised section, or the up here, this will be a branch line station, and it will use code 55 track, so that when the incline comes up from here it will be code 80 from here up to here, and then as it starts the incline I can adjust the height here so it can then match up with the code 55. So from here onwards along the incline it will be code 55, and as it gets to here it will be code 80 that way. I've bought some code 55 track, and I hadn't realised how quite different it was to the code 80. That when you do bend this, as you can see here, it keeps the angle that you bend it at. So if I bend it there, You can see it holds its shape, which will be quite useful on the foam. Whereas the code 80 that I've used everywhere else doesn't stay bent very well. So I'll possibly do a video comparing the code 55 and the code 80 track for those who are just beginning, as it's something that I think would have been quite useful to know. So yeah, there hasn't been much going on around the steam shed area. But yeah, as you can see, I've cleared up that area up there, and I'd still need to cut that bit of track to the turntable, which is still a job that I haven't gotten around to doing.
I'll see. What are you doing? Hey? She loves sitting up here while I'm fiddling with my model railway. Keeps me company.
So here you can see the rough plan. I say rough plan. This is the finalised plan for the race section. So you'll have the line coming in from the incline, and it'll come into this double slip, where the loco is then going to come in here with its train. The loco can then detach, go into the head shunt, and go back around the other side of the train, and ready to then cross over and pull it back down the incline. And there is also then quite a nice possibility of shunting, because I can then pull a train from the incline into line 1. Loco can detach into the head shunt, reverse around the loco, go through the double slip into the industrial area. It can pull a few wagons out from there into line 2. It can then head back into the head shunt, reverse and push whatever is in line 1. If it's some wagons, it can then push that into the vacant line now at the industrial area. It can then head off from there back onto the front of its new train in line 2 and take that off down the incline. So it'll give me a nice variety of possibilities that I can do, and have a nice little area of shunting up here, because this will be controlled by a separate power terminal. It will still be on the same controller, so it's like I'll then have track 1 on the inside, track 2 on the outside, and then the incline will be classified as track 3. So I'll have the 2 wires for that dropping down here just before I have a tunnel portal, so it can then look like it's not really a head shunt, that it can then look like the line originally came through here in that direction. But the idea of this section is that this area and this station was the first bit that was built when the area was constructed, and that this industry decided it would be a brilliant opportunity to build their business at the end of the railway, because this would have been a terminus. But then, with the expansion of the railways, they then realised that they needed a bigger station. But because they had an agreement with the railway, they had to have a cutting. So they left all of these industrial buildings alone, so that then you have the mainline station. But they made sure that there was a connection between this station and this station down here with the incline. Here you can see my dad's layout with the cat walking around. I just thought it was quite funny with such a big cat in a very small town. She does love that windowsill. Loves the view out the window. Don't you? It's now the next day, and as you can see, all the track work is virtually complete. The only bits I have left to do, this one here isn't done, because I haven't decided where that can move left or right a bit as to where it crosses over. And this line here hasn't been dealt with yet, because I've just ordered left-hand point to go here, so there's then going to be a line that goes up here. to this goods shed. So as you can see, progress is going well. As you can see, I now have the final point for this section of the layout. So that's going to go here and have a line going into the goods shed. So I'll just fit that in and we'll see how it looks. As you can see, that left-handed point is now in, and so is the line into the goods shed. I have put an insulated rail joiner here with a dropper wire here so that this section can be isolated, so I can have a loco stationed here while another train comes up, goes into the main area. That's because the way that the unifrog points work is that everything on them is powered with the way they, apart from the frog, unless you wire that up separately. So the track work up here, apart from the area up there, there's going to be a dead end line that's rusted over and overgrown with some old wagons. Everything apart from that and the line across, everything apart from that up here is now done.